Welcome to She Talks, a series where we talk to women who are strong, driven by purpose, women who've seen success but also seen failure. These are women who've lived a life, who've been on a journey, and who have stories, and their stories inspire. Hi, my name is Richa Sinha, and I run a startup called She Wealth that promotes financial education for women. Through money courses, we make money and investing fun and easy to learn. I have a very special guest with me today, a very dear friend that I've known for a while now, Lakshmipraba. Let me get her on screen as I introduce all of you to her. Lakshmi is an entrepreneur. She wears so many hats. I don't know where to even begin. She is an engineer. She's an entrepreneur. She's a sustainable coach. She calls herself, she's in the space of environment sustainability coaching. She runs a startup called Prithvimitra. The friend of the earth is, how we translate that. Uh, if I were to say, if I were to introduce what Prithvimitra does, probably there are three specific things. It promotes conscious living, it promotes zero waste, and a toxin-free living for people. How she does that, how she got into this space, we'll ask her and we'll see how her journey's been. So, Lakshmi, thank you so much, first of all, for being with me today. And I welcome you to share your story with us.
Thank you, Richa. Namaste, everyone. Hi to all of you. It's wonderful to be here with Richa on her She Talks. I would be really, happy to converse with you and share to the world my learnings, my realization. As you rightly said, success and failure is part of everyone's life. It's all about learnings that we do. So I am all ready for the flow, Richa.
Awesome. So Lakshmi, whereas definitely we want to understand what you're doing in the space of sustainable living, and how you're trying to in your role as an environment sustainability coach, what is it exactly that you do, how you're impacting the world. But I would like to take you do a little rewind, because we're also interested in the learnings that we can get from your journey. Because whereas I repeatedly say that people have different journeys, and but there are certain lessons that are very universal. So your journey might be very different from mine or anybody else who's watching this show, but there are certain lessons that we can draw from it, and I will keep interrupting you every now and then, just trying to derive those lessons, and also maybe make you reflect upon your life events, and try and tell us what you learned, or how you overcame a certain situation. So that is how the format will be. And so, before we get into your startup journey, I'd like to know the person behind this startup. You know, take us back to your childhood. Tell us who you were as a kid. Where were you growing up? Where were you born? How your parents were. Just take us on a trip back to childhood.
Woohoo! I'm enjoying this conversation. Thank you so much because I have been doing interviews for quite some time now, always talking about the environment aspect of it. Though the journey, when I reflect upon today, has been very powerful, very, very realizing. Very, it was a curve which has been very transforming for me. So I was born in Kalpakam near Chennai. But actually, I grew up completely from my first standard till my engineering. I did it in a place called Tiruchirappalli, Trichy in Tamil Nadu. It has the famous Rockfort temple. It's closer to the Navagrahas temple sthals in Kumbakonam. And I love the place. I grew up in a township in BHL township, Trichy. And I was more of a frog in the well. where, everything was available in the township. So my dad is a retired central government official from the central government of India. And my mother is a lovely homemaker who who has actually been the instrument or a medium for me to be here talking to you. So I'm extremely grateful for my parents for the entire environment they have given for me to grow and come up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a very common thing that a lot of people who've grown up in small towns say. Because these towns are self-sufficient. You literally don't have to step out to do anything. Everything is available within like a 10-kilometer radius. You step out of your house and you know people on the road, which is not the case if you say grew up in a Delhi or Mumbai or a bigger city. So there's a different charm entirely of growing up in a small town. Now tell me, what were you as a kid? So were you, how would you describe yourself as a child? As a
yes, till my 10 years, I was a very, very bubbly child, very, very, very naughty child. I used to be just fluttering. Being the second child of the family, from my childhood, I have been quite naughty and fluttering, basically. And I used to love talking with people, mingling with people, socializing with people. So literally, I'll be there on the road only playing with people in my street specifically. So I used to go and learn cycling by just calling out the street kids and telling, come on, please teach me. In the fourth standard only, I started learning that monkey pedal, we'll say in Kannada, we'll say. So the bar will be there, the cycle will have a bar, but I'll put my legs beneath the bar and start driving the cycle. So I didn't know. So now when I reflect back, I see that I have always been an action taker. So an action taker to learn. There was a fire to learn. So now I'm able to reflect that from my childhood. And there used to be small children. I was in fifth standard. There used to be small children, all my neighborhoods, kids actually, and they all speak Telugu in that time where I was staying. So I learned completely fluent Telugu and started conversing with them at that time, and initiated the artist, the drawing in the kids there. So it has been a very, I could connect a lot of dots when I'm reflecting at my 43rd year now. So I've always been bubbly and fluttering, but that somewhere got subdued, or became suppressed from my sixth year till about 40 years.
And
So
why would you say that? What happened?
yeah. So at school, I was a regular average kid who used to study, but not always very forthcoming, participative, a kid who was not on the stage, I would say. I have never been that, who was probably afraid or always had a complex of others. These are all my childhood things, but a sixth, say, somewhere something went. I became very silent. I was not comfortable moving out very open. I go to school, come back, and the only thing that I used to enjoy was an open air theater movie time every week that happens in the township where we stayed actually. And
So,
yeah,
but you cannot pinpoint on a particular incident that happened, which probably made this change in your personality. It just happened.
that was the time when I actually, I would say I came of age during my sixth standard,
Yeah.
and a lot of things changed in me. There was maybe because of the conservative or conditional
Mhm.
way of brought up, bringing up, because we know about 20 years ago how it used to be with
Yes.
the girl children and all that. There's nothing wrong, I would say.
Hmm.
That's how it had to happen, because that's when learning happens. Now I realize that.
In
So
fact, it's so interesting, when you say that, and people like like you and I, who are now in their 40s, and we can look back like 20 years and see the kind of kid, or 20, 25 years back when we're that age. I think that's an age, you getting into your teens, you're going through so many changes, from hormones to bodily structures to generally your equations with the
yeah,
opposite sex. All of that is changing, and it is so important for parents and for teachers, to be very sensitive to children in that age, so that they never develop a complex, or anything which could be a factor of bodily changes, or generally, the way hormones play around with the mind. So I think that's a very crucial age. People say, I mean, it's parents jokingly say that it's so difficult to deal with teenagers. I mean, I have a 13-year-old, I have a 14-year-old, and I'm like terrified. But then that is when, because parents have been through that age, so you know what you've been through. It is just so much important for parents to be very communicative with their children at that age. And you know it's difficult because kids will not want to talk to you, but you still have to figure out a way to be able to communicate, to understand what they're going through, to give them space at times when required. And it's just a matter of maybe 2 years, 3 years, and then by the time they're like 15, 16, they're again sensible kids. But then that age from, let's say, 10 to 15 is very sensitive.
exactly. Actually, my mother used to push me a lot to come out and all that. But I remember now that, I was very, very hesitant. I was a child in the school where, I was like nobody.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I remember, I think I would have been maybe 13, 14, like 8th, ninth, 10th, in that class. And we would have relatives who would come over, or generally guests from, neighbors who would come over in the evening. And my mom would be like, okay, Richa, come on, talk to people. And I'm like, what do I talk to them about? I'm not even interested. I'm like just sitting there as a statue. And then I'm expected to talk. And the moment people put that pressure on you, you suddenly don't know what to talk. And yeah, so it's just important for parents and adults around adolescents to be a little sensitive and patient.
but times were always different, no, Richa, like 20
Yeah.
years ago. It was a different aspect than what we have and deal with our children now. The
Yeah.
kind of situations they are wired with now. It's
Mm.
always good to go with the flow and move ahead, learning, unlearning, and relearning every stage of our life. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me, so while you were in this phase, what did you imagine your adult life to be? Because, when we are teenagers, or, preteens, we somehow are in a rush to grow up. And we're like, okay, when we are grown up, we will have our own independent life, and everything would be great. What were you dreaming of becoming as a, what career or profession did you think you would want to be pursuing when you grew up?
Maybe I think, Richa, I don't remember really thinking very big, but I always had a inclination or a liking towards becoming a teacher, or becoming a professor, kind of a thing. So I don't know why, but somewhere I had that flair, which I realized, I think post my 11th is when I really realized. But I had to take engineering due to again certain conditions at that time of doing engineering and all those stuff. So but now when I see that, actually I'm a trainer now, I'm actually a coach now, and had that flair for teaching or bringing in the teams together with the children or whoever it is to initiate something. So I think that has always been there, so I'm very happy for whatever I am now. Yeah.
Great. So you grew up, you finished school, and then you pursued engineering. Which city was this? What college were you in?
So I did my BE in Electronics and Communications from JJ Engineering College in Trichy. And that is where that was my very, I would say, a very memorable time in my life where I really laughed out of from my heart. Like I had a very good time at that, because after 10th, 11th, 12th, or I would say 8th to 12th was little very tough period for me. And post that, I something which I enjoyed in my life is, I would say, during my college time. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, do you still have those friends around? Are you still in touch with your college friends?
I have my school friend from UKG. She's my bestie till date. She's my
Wow.
soulmate, soul friend, I would say. We got to know each other from our 6 years of age. Now we are 43, and she is in US. And I have my college besties, three of them. Two are in US and one is in Bangalore. So yes, those relationships are almost 25 plus years old. So it's very
Mm.
strong. The bonding is quite strong.
Yeah. Okay, so now you're an engineer. Are your parents happy with what you're doing? Are you, uh, are you happy with how your life has turned out up till this point?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am very happy. I would say, though there were, I have felt that, oh, what am I doing? I have done this, I'm doing this, and I could have done that, and all those things. But now, with that a little more matured point of view, when I've started working on myself with the inward journey, I could see that wherever I am ought to be, and it is going to go even more further with more clarity. And my parents are also very happy, very proud of whatever's happening with my book published. They were extremely happy to be present at my book launch, etc. My mother, who always dreamt of working in a, she always wanted to work in a bank, but that never
Mhm.
happened. Yeah. She had big dreams. She was very different at that time for her, social conditioning with which she came up. But she's very happy with the way I am doing. She used to be very curious, and she's a curious person. She asked, "What are you doing? What is this? What is that?" And she was also always a giver, where she reads a lot of books, magazines which are useful, not the gossipy ones,
Yeah.
and always used to be that giver with tips and other things. And she used to try out a lot of things. So yes, I'm
Yeah.
happy with
I think having a strong mother figure in one's life is very important, and it reflects in the way children are brought up and the way they turn out. Because most sorted adults that I meet, you look back and you see that they've definitely had very strong parental bondings, or maybe very strong positive influence from parents and more so from the mother, because if you have a very strong mother figure, I think you're very anchored in life.
In
So
my house, it is more of both were there balancing.
mm,
My father was a little more on the taking care of a lot of things. He was a little more dominant, because dominant in the sense he was more on the responsible side, because
mm,
he was from a very big family, and most of the finances, the finance related marriage. It's a big family. He has about seven siblings, and each sibling has so many kids. So I have a lot of cousins. So
mm,
each family come marriage, my dad will be the cashier. He will have a purse in his hand with money. So he'll be the handler of money in everything. Mother
yeah.
completely took care. Yes, as you said, the anchoring was there, the purview was there, but the love was also there. Yeah.
Mm, yeah. Okay, so how did you start your professional career? Are you still, so if I rewind, if I take you back, say about 20 years, or whenever you were starting your career, what city were you in? Where did you take your first job?
So my first job, actually, after my engineering, that was a recession time in 2001 to
Mm,
until three. That was the exact starting of recession,
yes.
and I remember. So I came to Bangalore, where my brother and my brother's family was, and I remember every Saturday I'm going to walk-ins,
Mm,
but never to get a job. Not got a job. So I started my professional career by being an I got a job in Bangalore only. where I started without salary. I went on for 6 months in a company working on microcontrollers. And now I turn back and see how did I do it. But I did it 6 months. I had to travel through 4 buses. Okay,
Wow.
and come back morning 7 o'clock. I have to start and come back in the evening by 7. So it's fun. There is a lot of learning. But
Mm.
post that was my first job, and where I work, but I couldn't connect to it. And
Okay.
post that, I through Tamil Nadu government, since I did my engineering in Tamil Nadu, I had registered with my thanks to my uncle's help. I had registered in Tamil Nadu government. You can register for apprenticeship.
Mm.
So through that selection, I got an apprenticeship opportunity in a central government aided company in Chennai,
Okay.
and I worked there with a very small stipend, again based on microcontrollers and electronics.
Mm.
I got some learning there. It was nice. It was kind of a, though not government job, but a kind of a external job related to central government. But again, it was not connecting to me much. So that is, so I was always a searcher, a learner to see what next, what next.
And then you landed up in the BPO industry.
Exactly. So
Tell us why
yeah,
you picked that job. Because
exactly.
it's interesting why you did that. You
Mm,
perhaps you did it because the money was good, and if anybody relates to that era of early 2000s, 2000 to let's say 2007, 8. Uh,
yes.
the BPO industry was a big thing, and everybody was working in BPOs. Late nights, call centers, all of that had become so cool. So
Yeah.
you took that up for the money.
So I wanted to pursue my MTech in communication engineering or VLSI. Specifically, somewhere I wanted to do in Nanyang Technological Institute in Singapore. So my cousin helped me in kind of saying that you should apply for this. Let's apply. Kind of, there was a boost. There was
Mhm.
that kind of a moral boosting that happened. So I said, yes, I should be. I should be independent and all those things. And I did apply. It was a rigorous process. I did apply and needed money for that. Needed money in the sense I wanted to be independent from my legs. I wanted
Tell me what you learned from, how many years did you work in that company?
in the BPO sector.
Hmm.
In the BPO sector, totally, I was there for about 3.5 to 4 years,
So
starting.
if I were to ask you, what were two, three key things or skills or your takeaways from those 3, 4 years? What really did you learn? And tell me in a very generic form, something that today you apply in your life or maybe in your startup. So certain key skills that you learned from your corporate life.
See, definitely commitment matters. Whatever the type of work, for me, it was commitment.
Mm.
And I loved the space wherever I went. My parents were not for it actually. For the initial 1.5 years that I was with the night shift working as a customer service executive, there was a lot of resistance. But my uncle and my auntie, they gave the assurance that we will take care of her. And night shift is not now in growing times now with women, girls being independent. It will give her a lot of independence, financial independence. So let her go,
Yeah.
so kind of a thing. So that boost gave me a lot of confidence to stand in my legs. In fact, I got an opportunity to take a loan and buy my own scooty, which is fantastic. Now when I reflect back, it made a lot of sense to
Yeah.
really get into that responsible factor, how I should do handling of money. Okay, if I'm spending here, I'm sure this is your forte, but when I reflect now, I can make out a lot of sense. So commitment, moving with people or socializing, though I was always I always had a very few set of people whom I can connect to. I speak, I can talk to people, but not to everyone. So, and the culture there used to be sometimes too open for me, too much for me to immediately adapt to it. So what I do is I always stick with what my values are. So, and learning is important. I learned a lot of things. I learned American accent there, and I always used to be a top performer in my trainings. So it was great fun. So 1.5 years.
Also, this was the first time you were, living on your own, because till now, till college, till engineering, you were with your family. So
Yes.
you're not moved out of Trichy to live. So I think it's very important, and it's a great learning experience when people step out of their homes, whether it's for college or boarding school or while you're working. I think it suddenly makes you very independent, very street smart. You know how to manage your money, you know how to manage your time, your food, everything, all of that. So I can totally relate to that. So I stepped out, very young, of course, for my plus two in school. That is when I moved out of home. And but yeah, living in a college or hostel or on your own is a great high, that great learning experience, I would say.
Absolutely. In fact, Richard, that was a time when I really learned how to actually start getting groceries for the home, because I stayed in my uncle's home. And I was very happy with the responsibility or the commitment that I was also learning. And every month going with my auntie to actually buy the groceries for the entire house was an amazing learning for me. So, because till my 12th, till my engineering, I didn't know what was bought, because everything was
Because
set.
till the time you live with your parents, you're so shielded and protected and taken care of. People don't realize, what it is to manage on your own.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can imagine how that experience would have, molded you or shaped you as
That
a.
is when I also learned car driving and got my license. And I've always been, driving the car for more than 10 years now. So that is also an amazing thing. Yeah.
So okay, so till now, if I just look back at your life, I see this kid from a small town who's become an engineer, who's working, who's stepping out of home and then working on her own, doing working in a BPO. Now I still don't see any traces of an entrepreneur here. How did that happen? Where did that bug bite you?
So, in fact, I always felt that after working for about 3.5, 4 years, once my marriage got fixed, I immediately wanted to leave the job. Why I wanted to leave the job? Because for me, I'm a very committed person. So I felt my 100% should go to my family, while my husband is taking care of the finances and other parts of it. So that was the intention, actually, that I should give my 100% to the family, because life is like a balanced wheel, where both wheels are needed to run the family. And that's how I left my job. So for about 4 years after marriage, I think, no, 5, 6 years, 5 years after marriage, till that time, initially I was a regular housewife, homemaker. We had to shift abroad, had a small period of time where we lived abroad, but I always used to be an organizer, a planner for all the vacation and everything to be set in place related to the house and all those things. And
Were you truly happy and content being a homemaker, or were you itching to do something?
at that time, I think I was completely into that mode of commitment as a homemaker. And then I delivered the child, and I think post that is when really the things started shaping up, not as an entrepreneur, but as a social angle of it, with waste management coming into picture. When I saw a TV reality show where they showed the household garbage ending in landfill, completely polluting a beautiful village. The waters were turning black there, the entire earth, water, soil was spoiled. So I think that is the triggering point for me to see how I can be a change. How can I be a change? How can my house be a change? Rather than complaining about what is not there outside. Till that time, so my volunteer in me shaped up, where I started volunteering in solid waste management. And as that learner in me, the fire in me as an action taker kept moving ahead, moving ahead, moving ahead, moving ahead. somewhere that entrepreneur hat came in. I started an initiative that again was out of passion, called Rent a Cutlery, where we used to rent out steel cutleries to avoid single use disposables. So I think that was a time, 2016, when probably the entrepreneur hat in me, the entrepreneur avatar in me started. So from that time, then moved on to become a partner director formally of a company manufacturing natural cleaners, again inspired or probably triggered by the fact that two big lakes around 1,000 acres, they were foaming and burning. This was because of pollution.
I would like to, interrupt you here. Now, a lot of us see this happening around us. We see littering happen, we see pollution, uh, we see a lot of things going wrong environmentally around us. But not too many of us just step up and say that, okay, let me just get into this and then try and figure out a way how to stop this, or maybe mobilize other people to do something about this. Why was it important for you to do that?
Somewhere I believe that change begins with me, and then it ripples around everyone, because I believed in Mahatma Gandhiji's saying that be the change you want to see in the world. And if
But
I
also
can,
also tell me, okay, so this is great, but you really did not have the technical know-how. You never studied it, or you never really worked in this area till that point. And you suddenly said that you realize that this is something that you are so moved by, as a person, that you want to get into it full time. Was it a very conscious decision, or did it happen gradually? Give me a timeline, from the moment you felt that you wanted to get into this space till now. How many years has it been?
8 years, it's going to be 9 years in April.
So it has been a gradual thing. It's not like,
It's a
one
journey.
sudden day something triggers and then you transform.
One day it triggered, that seed
Mm,
has now, it's now blooming into a tree.
yeah. But then,
And now it's ready
but
to
then
shed
how
the
you are
seeds.
different, but then the way that you are different from a lot of other people is that you did not just allow that trigger to, go waste. You did something about that. Because, we sometimes we watch a movie or we see something, on the road, and we get moved. We feel bad, or we think that, okay, something must be done. And then we're back home, or we're in office, and then we forgotten. We are back to our own lives. But you stayed with that thought, and then you worked upon it. You also taught yourself. Tell me, how did you learn about waste management and conscious living? How did that happen? Did you attend a course or a workshop? What did you do to learn?
Absolutely, it's a wonderful question. Actually, here is where my husband takes the big role. So he was the first trigger point in my life, even before that TV serial, where he initiated as a responsible family for our own health. How do we move or shift our food choices from chemical laden, pesticide laden food to chemical free food? Vegetables, groceries, and fruits. So I asked him one day, as a regular homemaker, so why do we want to pay 1.5 times more and opt for a chemical free food or grocery or a vegetable fruit, going for very, there were no, 7 years ago, only one or two places used to have it, and never had choices. So why do we have to go search and do it? We have a big supermarket here. Every week we used to go and gobble up things in our cart and come. That's how it was, life was for us. That day he told me, okay, he just asked me one question. He said, do you want to invest that extra money on your health, or do you want to put that money to an MNC hospital or a doctor?
Such an important question, and
Yes.
so relevant. I mean, such a wonderful way to look at it. Do you want to invest in your health, or yeah, just because something is cheaper? Because sometimes you don't realize that something is cheaper, and maybe the organic food is more expensive, but then you end up spending so much more on your health later on.
It is investing on us. That is the realization that he put a seed in me. And after that, that is when the sustainable living in our life started. Then it is all on the ground as a learner. I had just opened, it's the open to learning aspect in me. I have always been a learner. That, open doors, like how there is a saying that says, when the student is ready, master appears.
Absolutely.
This was very true in my life, in my transformation. And once I put an intent saying, yes, now what should I do? I see pollution. I want to be an action taker. What should I do? I started getting connected to solid waste management practitioners, organizations who are creating awareness on the citizen forums who started becoming active. In Bangalore, we have quite a bit of active volunteering and initiatives that was happening from 2012. 2013. So I started my journey into waste management in 2014. And now till date, no looking back.
But you started your company, Prithvimitra, your startup, last year, 2 years back.
Yes, 2021.
So what were you doing from 2014 to 2021? Where were you working then?
So 2014 to 2017, it was a completely volunteering journey with a big citizen organization in Bangalore, and also another NGO trust who were talking about solid waste management in Bangalore. And in 2016 is when I not formally, I would say I started the initiative of Rent a Cutlery, which is still going till date, inspiring many citizens to start cutlery banks. And also in Boston, very happy to share, there is someone who doing a study on rent a cutlery recently in MIT. So
Wow.
that is happening. 2017, formally, I entered as a partner director of a natural cleaner producing company. Very happy to have done worked on livelihood impact project of bulk production of citrus peel bioenzymes.
Wow.
So it all happened as an entrepreneur, so from scratch to a brand creation. I was there as an instrument to learn, unlearn, relearn a lot of things.
In fact,
2021.
you know what I my takeaway, because you're the involved person. I'm, as an outsider, when I look at your life, especially, the moment this triggered, to do something about the environment and waste management, I think, you spend a lot of time to educate yourself, to get experience in, which was in the form of volunteering, and working part-time on various activities and events that were, that we were doing. So I think it's very important, for anybody who wants to try something out. uh, I look at it as, if you want to start something, you want to be an entrepreneur, I think it is always a very good idea to start volunteering or interning with companies that are doing similar work. It opens your eyes to an entire set of things that need to be looked at when you want to run a business, because running a business is not just, romanticizing with an idea in your head. That's a
Yes.
very, happy honeymoon phase in your startup journey. But the work happens when, and that is when, you have to be the execution, you have to be the executor, or you have to be the doer of things. And that learning will only come from the job. So, if you have an idea, and this is something, I'd like to just send a message across to people who would be watching this. If you think you have an idea, go ahead, find out other companies or places or people who are working on that idea, and join that, even if it's like an unpaid internship or a freelance work. You will understand that atmosphere, and that learning will be very helpful when you actually get down to working on your own. So,
Would like to
and I
add
think you
here.
invested so many. Yeah, sorry.
Would like to add here, Richa, as an entrepreneur, as a learner, we have to be ready to invest on ourselves.
Yeah.
Invest on ourselves to learn. Be ready to pay for a mentor. If you are volunteering, be a giver to learn the aspect by giving your best to on that job. So this will give you a lot of learnings where you will also start receiving once you take your entrepreneur hat or any job that you are in also. So this has been my life,
Yeah.
where for the
So,
last one, from
yeah.
the time the pandemic hit, I've always been done a lot of courses to invest in myself and or in mentors to broaden my language. And as you said, volunteering on the ground helped me greatly.
And now, it's so easy to learn anything. There's so many online courses. You don't even have to step out to do something. You can no longer complain about not having the time. As long as you have the intent, I think you can learn anything. There are
Absolutely.
free courses available. You don't even have to spend money on most of these things. So, all right. Now, okay. So now I would be a little, I'll take you on a different mm, segment now. I want to understand from you. Now, this is a rapid fire. Your answers must be crisp and short, right?
Definitely.
Uh, I want to understand how your relationship with money has been. You know, over the years, over the decades of your life, how has money played a role in your life or in shaping up you as a person or an entrepreneur? Right now, I'll keep throwing questions at you. Just try and just keep telling me whatever comes to your mind. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Give me tell me about a good money habit that you have.
Um, okay. Give me a good money habit is to acknowledge what I have.
Okay. Elaborate.
Acknowledge what I have, what is the money I have, acknowledge what I receive. Be
Okay.
grateful to it.
Okay. Awesome. A bad money habit that you want to get rid of.
Not aware of and was keeping the money habit away, but now I have started opening that up, becoming more aware with the
And how
money.
do you make yourself more aware? Are
Being
you more involved in your family finances or
being
where your money is going?
Yes, absolutely. Being involved with what actually where to invest, probably where is the spend happening, all those things.
Yeah.
Earlier it was
I'm just digressing a bit, but I think it's important, and that happens with a lot of women, especially. We tend to give away the money management aspect of, in a family to the husband or to the father, typically the male members. Whereas that is okay because every family has a different set of balance and how you divide work amongst family members. But I think it is always, even if you do not actively participate, you must be aware of what is happening. It is never a good surprise when suddenly something is just falls upon you, and then you're just trying to figure out what and how to manage things. So one must always be aware of what is happening with the family finances, even if it's your husband or your father or your brother, whoever, or your mother, whoever is dealing with money. You should know where that money is, because ultimately it's for the family. So yeah, be that smart, active participant, if not an active investor. Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, tell me about your what the costliest thing that you own, most expensive.
Most expensive thing that I own now, I would say me only, myself, but still, for the material sake, I can say we have maybe a car or a
Hmm.
TV.
Yeah, well, yeah. Uh, your happiest purchase.
Happiest purchase is when I bought my scooty during my work on the loan that I took,
Wow.
and I repaid the loan within 10 months. So I was very happy with that purchase actually.
See, so when you make something, buy something on your own, completely in control of managing that expense. I think it's not how much money you spend on something, but just the emotion that's attached,
Exactly.
which
I always
matters.
did have a great flair for gold or diamond or silver, but somehow these things, whatever you're asking, that I'm responding is from my heart. So
Okay. Um, I give you two situations. Pick one. Yeah. One is I can double your wealth today. At your age, I can double your wealth. The second is I can make you half your age with all the intelligence and wisdom that you have today. Which one would you choose? double the wealth today at this age, or half your age, going back half your age with all the intelligence and wisdom that you have today?
Okay, this is just for discussion's sake. So probably I would say half the age with my intelligence. So maybe I would have been a more informed, or things would have realized a little more in a better way, faster way. Though I would like to also say that doubling my wealth at this age, so that because the moment is crossed, and I would like to just go ahead with that enjoyment.
Okay. If you could have a celebrity, any celebrity from India or outside that could endorse your brand, who would you choose and why?
Okay, who would endorse my brand?
You can, choose anyone from any living person today, any celebrity. Who would you choose and why?
I've been intending to meet Surya and Jyotika. They are actors from Tamil movie industry,
Yeah.
and I have always, over the last few years, I'm seeing they're using the power of media to tell and talk about good things, powerful things to the public, like going organic. Why organic? In fact, Jyotika's movie Muppattaru Vaidinile. This is the movie that inspired me a lot. It came about for 6 years ago, and I'm intending to meet them and also gift my book, so I put my intention on that. So I feel they would be a right person to endorse my brand.
Awesome. Tell me, Lakshmi, what does success mean to you today? In terms, and I'm speaking very specifically in terms of your business. What are your two or three goals in the near future?
Definitely.
When or okay, let me rephrase. When would you say you have been successful? When would you think that okay, these are certain milestones that I want to reach, and then probably I will consider myself successful? What are those?
Already I'm feeling successful because of the impact being created with the kind of intention that I have set for Prithvimitra. It will
Mm.
enable a low waste and toxin free world by impacting 10 million lives. So that is my vision. So that is my vision through Prithvimitra.
So
And
when you reach 10 million, where are you now on that count?
already it is on the way, because with my book being published, definitely, and it's ongoing. So it's just a number, 10 million, to
Okay,
get the going.
okay. Now coming back to your book, I just forgot talking about that. You've written a book, and why so? What did you want to do with that?
This is my book.
Yes, and it's a children's book.
Absolutely. This is a children's book on waste segregation and no
Hmm.
littering. And why did I write? I have done many workshops for children on conscious living over the last 6 years, and I always connected with children much better, and have always felt that, or realized or understood that there is a saying in Tamil that we say that, which means what cannot bend in 5 years cannot bend in 50 years. There is a saying in
Okay.
Tamil which means this actually. I'm telling you the meaning of that saying in Tamil.
Okay.
So, what it means is being at a grassroots level. When the seeds, we are like a soft clay as children. We mold into the shape that we are molded. Though the individual qualities may be there, still we are easily moldable. So
Mm.
this is why in our families, when we were shaped with so many good habits and so many things, some things have stuck to us even till now. I am sure, Richa, you would be able to reflect and agree to
Yes,
it.
and I can also draw a parallel from what you're saying. There's certain things and certain values that are best when they're taught to young children.
Exactly.
Of course, from your perspective, it is about conscious living and waste segregation and management. But very specifically in the area that I work in, I think financial literacy is such an important thing that children should be taught.
Agreed.
Because parents don't talk about it, schools don't talk about it. How will somebody learn?
Yes.
School, college, you never taught about this. And
True.
then and the irony is that all your life you made to learn how to work to earn that money, but never how to manage that money.
Exactly.
And that is why we keep doing hit and trial. We lose money, we become, we get into debt. It is so important to learn how to do these things the right way at a very young age. So
Exactly. So to
yeah.
sow the seed of conscious living at a very young age, so that somewhere one day it'll bloom into a beautiful tree of them being a responsible citizen. To start small, always I believe in starting small and thinking big. To start small, one step at a time, starting with waste segregation, how to separate your waste into three types, and not to litter on the road. If we say everywhere it is dirty, we are responsible. We are all responsible.
Yes.
So that seed of transformation at a young age, somewhere, it was a flow for me to transfer this information to spread to the world. And that is how Suju learns to be a green warrior. That is my book that got published in January 6th.
And is Suju trying to do more things? Are there more books coming?
Yes, it is coming.
Great. Lakshmi, my last question. Uh, what do you think is the biggest misconception around women entrepreneurs?
Uh, Misconception, I would like to share something here. See, women entrepreneurs, we have that empathy aspect a lot, actually. Uh, but the mindset has to broaden with more of a collaborative attitude to go ahead. You know, I feel somewhere the self belief, the self doubt comes into picture a lot, holding them down. This again, I'm talking from my own experience, because my second book is going to be The Doorway to Powerful Me, the journey of a homemaker to CEO. So the whole transformation is where I am reflecting my own life, and I've seen this happening, that we women tend to not believe ourselves. We
Mhm.
have a lot of self doubt. Break it.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. Break that limiting belief. Who is tying you? It's you who's tying yourself with invisible chains. Break it and march ahead. Everything is a bridge ahead.
Yeah.
Keep doing connections, keep doing connections. March ahead. Be a giver. As women, we are givers. But at the same time, learn to receive. It's
Yeah.
very, very important. So once we believe ourselves, the whole world believes us, Richa. When we appreciate, validate ourselves, the whole world validates. Now, when I look at my own life, it's not here ranting about me. No, it's my beautiful sharing that I'm happy to share of. I know how much of limiting beliefs I have broken. So as I
Yeah.
told, I was a nobody in the school. Now I feel when I validated myself, I'm seeing the whole world is seeing me. As simple as that.
How awesome. And I don't think I can say anything beyond that. I think we should just close it at that. Because that's a lovely thought to, to just absorb and, take home and reflect upon that. So, yes, if you are women and if you have ideas in your head, just go ahead and do it. Like they say about writing, somebody who's aspiring to be a writer, they say that your first draft does not have to be perfect. It only has to be written. So just do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. You will pivot, you will change, you will grow and evolve your thoughts. So just start.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi. It was wonderful talking to you, and so many life lessons along your way that people can take, and you can relate to these things at different aspects, from different even if their journey is nothing like yours, there's so many things that people can just learn from you. So
Thank you so
more
much.
more power to you, and I wish you all the best, and may you keep doing great work and impacting people all around.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Gratitude, Richa. Let us all love ourselves. Let us all acknowledge ourselves. The whole world will acknowledge us. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye.